y'all ready for this?
Good day and welcome to the Meticulous Moments podcast, where we facilitate community upliftment through leadership development. And today we have the wonderful honor and privilege to spend time with the amazing Lindsay Satterfield. And he is such an impeccable human being. But before I bring him on screen, I'm going to read you his bio because he's here with me in the green room. Let's hear more about him. He lives in Tulsa. EDD Adult Education, Walden 2018. Hotspot Professional Development and Case Studies. MA in Liberal Studies at the University AR at Little Rock in 2014. Hotspot Alexander Bain's Influence on Composition. BA Liberal Studies, University of AR at Little Rock 1994. Hotspot Comparative Religions. He says he lives and works in Tulsa and is originally from Little Rock, AR. He has elderly parents in Little Rock and his dad was an investment banker. And he actually wrote us the following. He says, my goals are to write screenplays, act and teach eventually. I've been involved in about 30 films since 2020. John Vanis II and I hope to film Marty Murray and Acceptance is the Beginning soon. Discount was released in late 2021. Adrenaline is out in many markets right now, and Bloodthirst should be out this fall. My hobbies include walking, watching films, listening to music, and reading. My favorite films are Rocky, First Blood, and The Omen. Anything Richard Donner. My favorite books include A Course in Miracles by Helen Schussman, the autobiography of Alexander Bain, and The Hebrew Lord by John Shelby Spong. I also love just about every self-help book, especially Joseph Murphy's The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And with that, let's welcome our phenomenal guest here at the Meticulous Moments Studios. Welcome, Stephen. How are you?
Hey, it's great to be here. I'm wonderful.
It's wonderful to have you here with us. Now, you and I have spoken on Messenger. We had our virtual coffee. And you are such a lovely spirit, you're so open and friendly and kind. And then I see the photos of you in all these scary movies, and I'm like, whoa,
I
that's
know.
amazing.
I know there does seem to be a contradiction there. But you'll find a lot of horror film lovers are like that. They are very calm, loving people. They put a priority on family and friends, and yet they love to watch people being hacked to death. And so,
It's the
and
beauty of
action film
life.
lovers are the same way.
I love that, Stephen. Now, first of all, before I forget, I just want to give a shout out to our buddy, our friend John Vanis II for making the connection. Shout out to you, John. We appreciate you.
Right. God bless John Venice for introducing me to you. That's so wonderful. He's introduced me to a
Yes.
lot of good people.
He's amazing. He's amazing. And I know he actually simply adores you. So we at the Meticulous Moments audience, we want to hear from you. Tell us things about yourself that you want to share with the audience.
Well, most directly, John and I are actually trying to work on a few films. He has a couple of screenplays out there, including Not a Very Merry Christmas. I'm working on Marty Murray and also Acceptance is the Beginning. Acceptance is the Beginning was very difficult to write. It's my first attempt at a faith-based work, and I did not feel qualified really to write anything like that. I didn't understand the market that well, and I felt inspired all during the writing. And it only took about 4 days. And I told John at the end of it, I was crying most of the time. I do not even remember writing it. It was one of those pieces that just kind of exploded out of me. Now, Marty Murray is like we were talking about just a minute ago. It's a very violent piece. These are people I would have met a couple of decades ago when I was drinking heavily. These are people who spend time in a bar. They are always in trouble, and they're always having to commit crimes to make ends meet because they don't have the skills to survive any other way. So.
I love it already. When it comes out, I'll definitely be watching it. It sounds so interesting. It sounds so original and authentic. And you and I had that discussion about when the outpour really came from spirit, when outpour came from the universe for you to write that script in those 4 days, that personal experience that you had doing that. That's amazing. That was a download.
It really felt like that. And Helen Schuckman said the same thing for A Course in Miracles. And that's what inspired me, I believe. That kind of story, that kind of, automatic writing, as they call it.
Yes, it just flows out of you. And Marty's bar, I mean, that's going to be very interesting. I like the twist, and the violence, I'm sure it's just something else. I've never heard of a movie similar to that.
Well, I hope it is original. One thing I do like about it is it's essentially a one-set film, and I think those are so convenient for the audience and also the filmmakers. So whatever happens outside of that bar, no one cares about. It's only what happens there at the time. It's like a really I know in the 80s, America had a television show that was very popular titled Cheers. And it's like the really terrible side of it.
I remember Cheers. I actually remember that. That was a long time ago.
Right. I vaguely remember it. My parents were pretty good about telling my sister and I, you cannot sit here and watch television during the week. Your job is school. So they were disciplined in that way.
So tell us, how did you get into the film industry? Because you're a producer, you're an actor, you write screenplays. How did you get into this type of work? Because you seem to enjoy every moment of it.
I really do. Well, it happened a couple of years ago. I was about to turn 50, and I was going, what have I not done that I really want to do? And it was film. And I thought the best way to do this is to participate in some crowdfunding projects. I thought some of these are going to be scams. Some of these are just money laundering. But I knew there was a chance that some of them would be legitimate. You never know until you actually do it. So that's how I committed to Bloodthirst. I really hit it off with the two producers, the Mahal brothers, Michael and Sonny Mahal, and I said I wanted to work on this project. And I met so many wonderful people during that project. We had a great cast. It was led by Costas Mandylor and Robert Lasardo and Tara Reid. These are great people, and also Bishop Stevens. And this was during the pandemic too. So we literally went off into a small town outside of Vegas, Nelson Ghost Town, and we filmed a really bloody horror film about vampires attacking the community. So, so
Gotta
it
love
was wonderful.
vampire.
Right, it
I
was
love
like Las
vampire.
Vegas Community Theater meets Robert Lasardo and Costas Mandylor. It was fun.
Oh, that's amazing. So that's a vampire movie. So what is adrenaline? What is that
Adrenaline,
about?
adrenaline gave me a chance to play an evil doctor. And they even said you're going to have to change your voice because you don't sound tough or scary or anything like that. So I had to talk like you, you know,
Oh,
that kind of.
that sounds scary.
No, I tried to imitate Andrew Devoff and Wishmaster throughout the shoot. So luckily, it did not take long. And also, that gave me a chance to go to, just like Adrenaline gave me a chance to spend a couple of weeks in Las Vegas. In Adrenaline, I had a chance to go to Bucharest, Romania. And this was also during the pandemic. It was in January of 2021. So we had a huge Eastern European city to ourselves. And it was just wonderful. It was a great experience for everyone. I've never been that cold in my life. I've lived in the American South all my life. So I mean, we bundle up at 60 degrees Fahrenheit here, and it
Yeah.
was like, zero.
What an experience. I absolutely love vampire films and, watching thrillers. But one thing I do not really love to do is watch zombie movies
Oh,
because
really?
there's
Oh, well, I played a zombie.
I'm so scared of those things. I don't want to die.
Right. I played, I, a couple of years ago, I also, in the summer of 2021, I went to upstate New York to play in Z Dead End, where I played a zombie. And that was just hilarious because I did not know really how makeup appliances work. And they had makeup even on my hands. So I could not work with my hands at all for 2 days. So it was just hilarious. Joe Castro or Robert Resto was the director. Joe Castro did all the makeup. He's a incredible talent. I just loved him, and we had a great cast of horror fans who just wanted to contribute to make a horror film unique and fun.
Absolutely stunning. How long does it take for them to put that makeup on you, for you to look like a zombie?
Well, it can take several hours for you to, and you're just standing there while they apply stuff all over you, and you've never been spoiled until you're spoiled by someone applying makeup all over your body. It's wonderful. I mean, it's. I've never felt like that before. I've never been fully made up like that before. So it was just an incredible experience for me. So
I'm so happy to hear that you enjoyed it. That's the wonderful thing about putting yourself out there, not being scared or worried to take a leap of faith to try something new, to really believe in yourself that you can do these projects. And when I speak to you, Stephen, you're always so light-hearted and filled with joy. How do you keep that beautiful energy going?
I think, well, it's like we talked about the other day. It takes exercise. You have to eat right, and you have to exercise every day. I think that's key. Otherwise, I would be negative and sad, just like I was in the '90s when that was an appropriate attitude because I was a kid in college. So,
That's it.
but,
It was
but
the
I think
time for that.
right. I try to do at least 90 minutes of walking every day, just clearing my head and making myself mentally able to prepare for the day or take stock of what happened that day. And also eating right. I'm a vegan. I don't, if it's
Oh,
if it crawls around or walks or it flies, I'm not eating it. I try to stay clear of that. And that really helps too. I think it helps my health, but also it just makes me feel a lot lighter and ready to take on whatever.
that's amazing stuff. And that's the truth. I've heard many people say, when they stopped using, like meat products and dairy and all that, that they really felt their health was just on another level. I've heard people say that before. And you talked about mentally being strong. I actually saw a TikTok this week that explained that every cell in your body is like a battery. It has a positive and a negative. And the brain really is the signal for all these cells. So the brain sends out this signal, this frequency. That's why we say love is a frequency. We say energy. We talk about the energy. We talk about the aura. We talk about being feeling blessed and grateful. That's an energy. It's a frequency. And he was talking about how the brain is the signal for these cells in our bodies, and that signal goes to the gene node, something they call the gene node. And the person that was doing this research said, it's all about your mind, your mindset, whether you are happy, whether you are healthy, that in your mind. And that's the truth. You talked about mindset now, and I immediately thought about that.
Right. Mindset is critical. One, it has to be positive, but at least if it's not positive, it has to be can do. It has to be, I'm willing to analyze this, break it down, and decide how I'm going to go about going forward. So I think that's
That's the
critical.
truth.
Really is.
That's the truth.
And
I agree with you.
And I never silver line another person's problems. I never say, I never jump to the solving part before they're explaining what happened to them, because that interrupts their flow, and also they're not feeling like I'm listening or participating in their conversation. So I always, whatever they need, I'm there to listen too.
That's good. And listening is a very big part of our lives because we live in this mainstream media. There's these external impulses the whole day. Sometimes there's so many people or things putting input into our lives. We don't sit down and just listen to ourselves and spend that meditation time just to feel, how do we feel? Are we internalizing what's being thrown at us? Or is it how we really feel? Is it what we really want? So I'm sure you have these practices where you meditate and really center yourself.
I try. Sometimes I don't have the discipline, but I do think it's very critical to health. I always say the great Eastern religions, what makes them work is because they do meditate. They do concentrate on their diet and exercise program, but also they meditate every day. It slows down the heart, lower stress. They live
Yes.
longer. So.
That's the truth. They live very, very long. Must be that. Stephen, tell me more about your family. I know you have two elderly parents. You talked so lovingly about them. You spoke about your family. Tell us more. Tell the audience more about your family values and your journey with them.
Right. Well, they're in Little Rock. I have two elderly parents. One's one's in the final stages, I believe, and that's very sad. They adopted me, so I was chosen. So that always thrills me. So I wasn't somebody's accident, and they and we do. They sent me to Episcopal Elementary School and Catholic High School, and so faith was the center of everything. And we were, I think, other than that, we're the typical, middle class Southern family. Not very large. It was just my sister and I and my parents, and I was also able to live with my grandmother at the end of her life. So, and my paternal grandmother, and so that was wonderful. That taught me how to live. That taught me how to put other people first when they have to be. And we're not required to do that very often, but when we do, you have to seize that opportunity, definitely. Because it really, I know you do because you're a parent, right? So.
I do. And you and I shared so many similarities, with you looking after your gran and me just being there with my mom as she passed on. And that, that experience really changes us. I did not come back the same person that I was, after going to see her and to hold her hand as she was passing away. Something in me changed.
Right.
It was almost as if her passing, in a good way, gave me a new life, a new perspective.
Sometimes love is transformative, and that's where it is.
It's really sad. It was sad, but it was also a freeing experience in the sense that she had no more pain. She could go on and be her and return, to the good Lord. So I really appreciate you sharing that with me when we talked.
Right. Well, my worldview is basically very simple. I believe we have a soul that longs to longs for reunion with God, and that's it. And whatever we do in between now and then, the soul's going, hurry up. So.
Yeah, no, you're making that other voice. I wanted to ask you for the audience, you had to change your voice to be that evil doctor.
Yes, well.
Yeah, give us a line or two. I would love to hear it.
I remember when we were filming, one of the producers says, well, try your normal voice. And the director piped up, Massimiliano Cerchi piped up and said, no, don't let him do that. It's not going to work. Because it's like, hi, we're going to kidnap you now. Welcome. The Southern voice is so friendly and so inviting, it just doesn't work.
Yeah. So would you like to say to us, to the audience, in that voice, I'm going to kidnap you or something like that? I would love to hear that raspiness.
Yeah, come on. I got you.
I'm already running out of the studio. That sounds scary as heck. That's great.
In my whole family, I've shared pictures from the films and any scenes, and they just go, "What? What is this? Why did you agree to this?" So there was another film where I played a death count, where that's by Michael Sue and the Mahal brothers. And that was another one where I played kind of a whiny little guy, and that's what I really, that's a little bit closer to what I am. So.
What was your favorite role?
Oh, the favorite, probably the best experience because it was so unique was probably the first one, Bloodthirst, because it was all new to me. So it was. It has the benefit of novelty. And the film, luckily, I have been able to watch it already, and it's just beautiful. It was filmed in sunny Vegas or right outside, and it's just with red helium cameras by Michael Sue, and it's just gorgeous. I mean, it costs less than it probably cost total less than $500,000 at that, and it looks like it was shot for 10 million or so. So it
Wow,
was,
well done on that.
and I was able to stay I was in Vegas for about 3 weeks during that time, and then I followed up a couple of weeks later with the Death Count, where we also filmed that in Vegas, and so it was a lot of fun. On Death Count, I walked in and Robert Lasardo was finishing up. I think he's one of the best living actors, and it was so thrilling to see him work. So
That's amazing. So you like the travel, you
I
love
did.
putting that piece of art together because the movie, that's a work of art, bringing that story to the people. And what do you do after a film? Do you take a week off? Do you go on a retreat? What is your go-to? Or are you good and you just keep that momentum?
I'm essentially a homebody. So when I retreat back to the house, basically.
Beautiful.
I mean,
That's
I think I was always like that. I believe, even as a child, my parents were really great about taking us all over the world if they could. And I mean, we went to like Hawaii and all the major states and cities here in the United States and Mexico, and they really emphasized travel too. And also, they said I always wanted to go back home. I was always ready to homesick, and I think it wasn't so much homesick as I require a routine. So I
yes.
think that's a
That's
lot of people are like that.
Yeah, I'm the same. I love to travel. I go all over. I've been to Frankfurt. I've been to many places in the States. I've been to Berlin. I've been all over South Africa. And I absolutely love, love, love the whole trip. But I also love walking into my home, kicking my shoes off and sitting on my couch, and just saying hi to all the animals and my kids. They really say home is where the heart is, depending on where you live, because I'm going to immigrate to the States soon. So then that'll be my home. But it's always good to have that place, that safe haven to come back to.
Right. You need to decompress and also go follow back into the routine you established. And I think that's really important. Uh, Now, I was able to at least see Paris on the way to Bucharest. So that was wonderful. And Amsterdam on the way back. What scared me is when you travel over the Atlantic, I thought,
Yeah.
well, surely I'm going to see lights down there because surely there are some ships or whatever. They said, no, you're not going to see anything this whole trip. I was going, oh, no, what is this? So that really frightened me. I don't know.
That is a scary thought, Stephen.
Right,
If something goes wrong there, that's just water.
right. It's just water and it doesn't emit any color. So it's very
Yeah,
nice.
no, that's good. That's good. And you're a strong leader in society. I believe you are because the things that you do, the people that you impact, that good energy, as I've mentioned, that you bring out to the world, and really just standing for the things that you believe in, your morals, your values, and family. And I want to ask you about leadership because I love to talk about leadership. What is who was a good leader in your life that really showed you the way, that maybe helped you with your routine or helped you along your path?
Oh, I think by virtue of being in school for so long, I was able to meet and interact with some really impactful and wonderful professionals. There was definitely some academic high points. I was able to do an independent study with Professor Michael Klein at the University of Arkansas. We were able to study Michel Foucault, a great French thinker, and that was an incredible experience. He allowed me to decide on what deliverable we needed to take because everybody a thinker is important when nearly every department in the university claims that person. I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
Michel Foucault was a great interdisciplinary thinker, and really, I really wanted to do my master's thesis on him. I eventually settled on Bain, who is another thinker along the same lines, an interdisciplinary thinker who pretty much went where the research led. And he was also a great compiler of research. So, um, and that, I think that really, um, folks like that really taught me not only the value of research and learning, but also leadership there. Or they really did. It's been an incredible honor to meet them and be with them. And during another class, I was able to reach out to a filmmaker, and I think the earliest time I did. Um, and I took a course in healing narratives near the end of my master's time, and I reached out to Yvonne Noel because I knew he was creating healing narratives, and he has since passed away. And but I was able to strike up a friendship with him, talk to him about what happened to us, what happens to us when we're under stress, and what happens to us when we're being traumatized and violated. And he was able to give me incredible insights into that, and which I'll cherish those two leaders forever. Um, Later in college, I also worked with Mario Castro, who is my project chair, and he was incredible. He taught me how to create a case study, how to analyze data as it comes in, and that was, I mean, he was invaluable to the process. So we're beyond grateful to all these people.
It's
I really am.
incredible to me that you've done your research in the academic field, you've rubbed shoulders with these academics, you're
Yeah,
busy in the arts, and that takes also, doing a film also takes a lot of research, whether you've done it qualitative or quantitative,
right.
all those
Qualitative, right.
principles and use it in the art of movies. And, I actually read a study the other day about the trauma that really goes and finds a place in certain places of your body. And they have these, I'll almost call it fetal poses that you can do every few days to actually release that trauma from the body. But a lot of people walk with that trauma because
That's
they're
fascinating.
unaware. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that. That's fascinating. Huh.
I'll send it to you. The one is like, when you go into the butterfly, when you sit and stretch in the butterfly, your feet together, and you
Huh.
take your legs and you just keep pressing your knees down. You press your
Oh,
knees down. And the other one is where you lie on your back and you bend your knees to your chest and you actually grab onto your big toes and you just go side to side. And that has some kind of physiological, subconscious, psychological effect on your brain to release trauma in your body. It's amazing. I'll send the videos to you.
amazing. Amazing. Who would research that? That's fascinating.
And that's what I find fascinating about you because you've done the research, you've written those academic papers and you're taking those principles and that knowledge that you've learned and you're using it in the arts. I think that's amazing. And that's why you enjoy what you do because you know what you're doing.
Right, right. I think critical, and if you feel like you're actually being of service to another, yeah, that makes it all the better. Whether it's art or even during the time I was in graduate school, I worked for a nonprofit for about 10 years, and I felt like I was being empowering others every day. And when you do feel that way, you you feel like you're a success. So
Yeah. I find that refreshing about you because you have this giving heart, this open giving spirit and, gratitude. You and I talked about gratitude on our virtual coffee. And I would like for you to tell the audience what in this moment, it can be anything that pops in your mind. What are you grateful for today as you and I sit here. I mean, I'm on the other side of the world, and you and I get to share this moment. What do you want to share with the audience today that's really speaking to your heart?
Oh boy. Well, immediately, I'm very grateful to you and John Vanis for setting up this meeting. I'm very grateful to, we have a beautiful day here in Tulsa. It looks like it's going to rain. We're going to have some thunder, but it's going to be a gorgeous day. I love the summer. I live for the heat. I know people say, oh, why do you live for, but this is what the Southern person lives for, the summer. We have gorgeous weather, and that's everything.
Beautiful.
And John and I both have faced all kinds of, crazy folks along the way, and that makes it even more interesting. I mean, we've had, con artists, but that's, we had a producer who wanted to harass women, and we had to, fire him.
Oh my God.
I mean, we also had to, I had a person recently who told me, I wasn't really helping you all look for any film financing. I was just, reading your script or something. I was going, okay, great. So you have to, you take the good with the bad. And I think that's what makes you so grateful for the good people in your life and the people who mean something to you, because, there's so many,
Let me tell you something. First of all, here in South Africa, I'm also the same. I love summer. We're currently in winter, it's very cold, but I'm like you, I love the sun and summer. And second of all, I want to mention, I've also met quite a few strange people in my life, and I'm thankful for every single one of them that acted in an odd manner, or maybe tried to hurt me, or walk over me, or be mean, because I taught me listen. And I'm thankful for this, because now I'm a little bit wiser.
Right. There are so many people to thank. I really do. I agree, definitely.
So now you and I have spent 40 minutes together. I want to ask you, what words of wisdom do you want to leave the audience with?
Oh, I don't know if I have any wisdom. No, but always be grateful. Always. Realize that you're not here very long, so you have to put other people first. I know John believes that. I know you do. Faith is incredibly important. So, I guess that would be the main thing. And
yes,
of course, the Helen Schuckman quote we loved the other day: "Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God." That's the most. I love that.
That was the highlight of my day the other day when you told me about that quote. And it's been with me every single day since. I want to thank you for putting that into my life, pouring it into my life, and into the audience life. We appreciate it. Thank you for being here. And keep being amazing. And we pray your way will be filled with all your projects.
Thanks and blessings. I really appreciate it.
Bye-bye, Stephen.
Bye. God bless.
Bye.
Are y'all ready for this?